you all see what they were doing. That's what you call open, honest government, which they all claim they're doing. They went to Section 51 to try to avoid Section 128. Did they get away with it?
No.
That's up to you. Pursuance of Section 51 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth should enact an act in the terms of the first schedule. And where it has been agreed that each state should request and consent to, oh, that's a big word. Who consents to rape? Because that's why it's called rape. Rape's a criminal charge. This is constitutional rape. Because you didn't consent. So how can you agree? Because you didn't know it was happening. It's what you call date rape. The victim's drugged. Well, that's what's happened. And consent to the enactment by the Parliament of the United Kingdom of an act in terms of the schedule to the act contained in the second schedule. And where it has been agreed, I'd like to know who agreed. Because you own it. We own it. We're the owners. Well, who agreed on behalf of the owners? Where it has been agreed that the Parliament of the Commonwealth, with the concurrence of all the states, should enact an act requesting and consenting to the enactment by the Parliament of the United Kingdom of an act in the terms of the schedule. This is all your Request Act, Western Australia. Be it therefore enacted by the Queen's Most Excellent Majesty by and with the advice and consent of the Legislative Council, Legislative Assembly of Western Australia and this present Parliament, and by the authority of the same, and those are big words, because the authority of the same says it's got to go back to Section 73 to the elector. That's the real authority. Anybody see it? Well, it says you consented to it. Or am I wrong? I'm just a farmer. Should go back to the paddock and drive a tractor. And the only way I'm here is because I care about what they're doing to the kids. The adults can make up their own mind, they generally do. They play around and they're stuck in their own, excuse the word, well, I won't go any further than that. But who's going to look after the kids? Because the kids are being transferred from one jurisprudence to another. Anybody know the other jurisprudence that is being substituted for all of this? Because that's what you're going to let your kids wake up to one day. And that's the only reason I'm here. Who's talking on behalf of the kids? People say, why do you get involved in that stuff? Well, who's talking on behalf of the kids? Somebody better. The adults can make up their own mind. They're all old enough, you know, to turn the TV on and work a remote and sit in an armchair and watch it hour after hour after hour and then get on the phone to each other. But who's looking after the kids while they're doing all this? There's your Australia Act. Now what that Request Act did was get a request and a consent that they could do this other act, the bigger one. An act to bring constitutional arrangements affecting the Commonwealth and the states into conformity with the status and so on. Excuse the expression, all that's a lie and it was all done incorrectly. The other side would say, wrong, we did it right. Commonwealth referendum. Now, remember, that Request Act was 1985, the Australia Act was 1986, but here we have a referendum in 1999 that literally had a referendum because it didn't know those other stuff had already in position that had turfed the Queen. You get the drift? But you own the Constitution. Well, who mucked around with it with your consent? Agreement and consent, it said all that. Have agreed and consented to. Have you agreed and consented to these changes? Because at the Commonwealth referendum, unbeknownst to you, you counselled out a lot of their rubbish. Because you actually said to them, get on your bike. Biggest shock they ever got. Because they thought they'd channeled the people to where they would vote. Now they're about to try the second time and give you what you call the Republic Constitution. People would vote on that without even seeing the document that you would get. Let alone the document you currently got. Now, could I say the word? You'd have to be absolutely stupid. Please, I'm saying that graciously as I could. Normally I'd call it a village idiot, but I'll refrain. Constitution alteration. These are what they were doing to get the establishment of the Republic, because they thought that vote was theirs. So they actually said the Bill's Digest number 2000, it's all up there, states that Schedule 2, and then they reckon replace references to the Queen and Governor-General, delete redundant references to the Governor-General, Queen or Crown. They did all this in 1999, expecting the electorate to tick it. But when the vote went the other way, they were all, excuse the expression, caught with their pants down, running out the back door. Change reference to subjects of the Queen to reference Australian citizens, distinguish references to the President, etc. Replace references to the schedule. I don't have to go through all that because it's on the DVD. The beauty of a DVD is you can sit and watch it and hit the pause. Don't come back for 3 days if you need to. But Aussie, you're about ready to get slam dunked into something you'd wish you'd looked at first. Update sections, delete references which have become redundant or make extensions to the transfer of powers from the governor. They're big words. See, section 49 says powers, privileges and immunities. Here they're talking about transfer of powers to who? Certainly not to the elector, because they're saying we have to keep the elector in the dark with this. But I'm only a farmer. I thought the elector owned it, because they had the power to change the Constitution. You're being slam dunked. I'm only here under that Ezekiel scripture to give you a warning, which is a warning to the whole of Australia. What you do with it's your own business. My hands are clean with God, and so is Darren's, because that's why we're here. We're here to give you a warning, not to fill churches with rubbish, to lullaby them into stupidity, because your church, Christian church, the whole of Australia, is not telling you what's going on, either constitutionally, legally, financially or spiritually. The draft bill. The draft bill to insert a preamble in the Constitution was released for a period of public comment from 25th of March 1999. Now, here comes an interesting question. In that public comment, did they make any comment about, we might have probably breached the Australia Act, so we might have to go back and fix that first. Was there any comment made on that? So the type of comment they were giving was what you call a lie, because a lie is something that's not the truth. The bill was introduced into Federal Parliament on 11th of August 1999. The Federal Parliament passed both the Constitution Alteration, Establishment of a Republic Bill 1999 and the Constitution Alteration Preamble Bill on 12th of August. Well, hadn't they wasted a lot of time and money? Because now they've got to come to the electorate. And on 6th of November 1999, the Australian people voted in a constitutional referendum on whether Australia should become a republic and whether to insert a preamble to the Commonwealth Constitution. The two proposed constitutional changes put to Australian electors at the 1999 referendum were not approved by a double majority of electors. You threw it out. Thank God you did. But in actual fact, they've changed a lot of law contrary to your decision. What is the accountability? Because that's what we call the committee. The Committee for Accountability. What is the accountability? You have a courtroom situation, either civil or criminal, but it will get to that point. Therefore, the proposals for constitutional change were not carried for both the Republic question and the preamble question. Neither a majority of Australian voters nor a majority of voters in the majority of states approved the proposed constitutional change. And didn't they spit their Masonic dummy all the way back into Europe on that deal? And note I said a Masonic dummy, because that's who's running this show. Now in Victoria in the year 2000, now how far out is that from November 1999? Well, just a couple of months. And look what Victoria did. They took the Oath of Allegiance out of the Legal Practice Act. A couple of months